Alrighty, Marshall.
It might rain.
It might rain.
Wind might blow too.
That would be nice.
Well, as you guys know, we had the big fire down south. Just to keep everybody on the same page, the original control burn that got out of control, everything was done by our guidelines. I mean, what they done when they were doing their control burn, it was 100% by the guidelines. So there's not gonna be any fines given, you know, it's an accident, it happens. We had another one the same day south of Stafford, that was the same thing. I mean, almost identical timing. So, both of them they were following the guidelines, they had depth, they had water, everything. I don't see any reason for billing somebody for something that they've done properly. So, I know that's something that's going around Stafford County that everybody thinks he needs to be fined for it, but it's hard to find somebody when they're doing things properly. So, we actually, this is what we got off of our drone, or actually I had a guy come in and fly it as far as what burnt. We come up with just a little under 8,000 acres total for that fire between Saturday. This would be the Saturday fire and this would be the Tuesday fire. We broke it up because I have two separate reports that are tremendously long that we're still trying to finish up and that way we can get everything sent to.
That's the
insurance
little
companies.
house, that's that pasture that you were in of ours there.
Yeah.
This would be the bottom road right here.
Yep.
Kansas,
So it did get over into Gleason a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Kansas Forest Service,
These are both the same area?
Yeah. So
yeah,
this pasture right here.
this would
is
basically
this
butt right up next to this.
Okay.
Kansas Forest Service, they have a geologist that does a bunch of stuff off of satellite images. And this is actually what they marked out as the burn area. And it comes up to 8,595 acres total. Ours is separated because we have to have one for one report and one for the other. They just done that and sent it to us, just so that we had an idea of what all burned. We had a few minor breakdowns with trucks. Everything's repaired, back in service. We had a lot of help out there, a lot of farmers, a lot of individuals bringing water, tanker trucks, which we didn't use what we thought we would, but that's part of it. Sure glad to have them there. I did meet with Byers Fire Department last night, because they have, well, they have 13 people on their department, and most of them are new, so that's the biggest fire they've ever been on. They invited me down for their meeting last night. I spent about an hour down there, because they wanted to know how things are done, how we do things, and so I just kind of explained to them. There was some communication errors with Pratt County and Stafford County because they don't have our TAC channels. And so we're in the process of taking care of that, so they had no communication with us.
Really?
So, but that should be taken care of.
Wow.
How big was that fire south of Stafford?
So the original, it wasn't that big. The worst part was it was in trees, and apparently someone had piled 60, 70 railroad ties out there that caught fire. And so, I mean, I think there was roughly, well, the first time on Saturday, it was about 43 acres that was burnt, that wasn't supposed to be burnt. And then I think it was then Tuesday it was in trees and railroad ties and stuff like that, and some grass.
Yeah, I was impressed with the fire department. I mean, I was down there when it was burning. I think they saved that cabin. I mean,
Yeah.
they could have burned up.
And I did talk to the Forestry Service, you know, they have that, I don't know if you guys seen that tanker that flew over Pawnee County.
Yeah, I think they were flying yesterday
They were
down
flying yesterday.
in Comanche County or something.
If that's needed, it's no cost to the county.
Okay,
That's done through state funds. Basically, get something like that.
where are
You
they
call it,
out of?
Hutch.
Reno County Hutch.
Hutch.
Mhm. But, so if we would've called them on this fire, and Pawnee County's hadn't happened yet, if Pawnee County would've called for it, they would've left us and went to Pawnee County.
Why is that?
Because of the amount of structures that were in danger in Pawnee County.
Okay.
They base it off of what's worse. You
Mhm.
know, if it's grassland and pasture, they say, you know, yeah, we'll come help you.
Yeah,
But if someone calls and says, hey, we got a fire moving towards a city or a town or something like that,
Mhm.
they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gonna go, you know, protect structures and stuff like that.
That is the one blessing about this fire, is that I don't know really of any nice structures that burnt down.
No,
Um,
I think most of them were just small sheds or cabin
Yeah.
sheds or something like that.
Yeah. No house or
No house, yeah.
anything like that.
On that tanker, they don't have to fly back to Hutch to refill.
No, so what they do is they have to have I think he told me a 5,000-foot runway. So they either do Pratt or Great Bend. And he said so that fire down south, they would call Pratt County Fire or Pratt City Fire to go out to the airport, refill it when it lands, and then fly back.
Yeah.
How much water does that thing use?
1,000 gallons. It don't seem like a lot, but 1,000 gallons in one spot will put out a lot of fire.
Yeah,
Especially if you're trying to get ahead of something like this.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought everybody did a good job from what I saw.
I'm not gonna complain about the firefighters, I mean, they all work good, they done what they needed to do, put in a lot of time out there, so no complaints on my end with them.
Yeah. Okay.
The only other thing, I'd like to have a 10-minute executive session.
Okay.
Discuss non-elected personnel.
Make a motion, we go in executive session for non-elected personnel with Mike, Lisa, and the commissioners for 10 minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Do we need a motion for that real quick?
I don't know. I mean,
It's
I
just
guess
next-
probably
It wouldn't be a
wouldn't
bad
hurt.
idea.
Okay.
I make a motion that we extend the GBT contract for the next 24 months for IT service.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
passes.
Okay, the first thing I'm here about is, was last Wednesday on the 30th anyway, Natalie Clark brought the school over, the high school,
Yes.
and visited, brought two class, what was it, 25 kids probably altogether, something like that. But they only have a short period of time, you know, to go from the rest of these to, I don't even think they got to go up to the court this time. But I talked to Natalie out there afterwards, and I guess, you know, this group of kids was actually really interested, you know, and then which made me start thinking, I would like to somehow maybe with the commissioners or the county co-op with the school and do something, not just for 20 minutes or 40 minutes, but actually show them what the county does and educate them what the offices do, and have a set maybe week, you know, like sometimes in Kansas, isn't like their week, Kansas week or whatever. Government day or government week or something, to where, you know, we could do something like that in April before they get out of school, but maybe do something like when they get into school, you know, begin in the fall. But actually show them what we do,
How young of kids are you talking?
freshmen to seniors.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. A senior coming out needs to know what every department in the courthouse does.
Yeah, and over a period
How
of,
property taxes paid and.
and they don't know. They didn't know why, I tried to explain escrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And just some vitals of what we do, and I'm sure you ran into the same
I
thing.
started running into the levy and you know, how we do the levy and calculate taxes, and I'm like, this is gonna get so complicated, these kids are gonna be looking at me like,
Yeah, I barely understand the bill.
So was that part of their career fair deal?
And they haven't done it in a while because of COVID.
Yeah,
They used to do it. But I was thinking, you know, you know, at first you think, well, that, you know, it'd be nice if we would do this, and then you let it go and you forget about it, and who cares? But, you know, maybe it's kind of our fault too.
Yeah,
You know, because we haven't pursued the 3 schools. We haven't told them to come over, or we haven't offered to go there. And we're letting these kids slide through, and they don't even know what we're doing. They don't even know what's going on in this courthouse.
well, and then when they buy a car and come in, they have no idea what the registration process is or why you pay taxes.
yeah, I mean, you need to know about property tax and
Yes.
registration. You
Yeah.
need to know how to pay a speeding ticket at
Yes.
district court, or,
Yeah,
I mean, because it's all foreign if you don't.
That's right, that's right. So I guess I'm here to ask you guys, is there something where if Lisa would contact the school or you guys or what have you, but maybe start working on that to have a 2 time a year and really get down and explain to them what we do?
And all
In
day,
all 3 schools.
and all day,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like give them a credit if, I don't, that's up to the school, but anyway, you know, I know some schools still have that afternoon work detail. You know, some of the bigger schools, to where if we could grab a student, you know, I might could find a summertime data collector through a process like this, you know, that would actually help the county. I mean, you know, I think the options are just endless, the more you think about it.
would it be better to, I'm just asking, instead of having them come over and do an all-day deal, if Natalie wanted to do it like, the commissioners went over there and talked to the class on a Monday, you know, register deeds office is small, so maybe Luann would wanna, you know, go to the school, or, you know, do it over a week deal, to where it's not so much at one deal.
And that's why I was thinking a week, you know, because we have government week or what have you. But I'm really open to it for anything.
Yeah,
And I really am. I just thinking, you know, maybe we shouldn't drop the ball this time. And we should have done it better when you was in high school, but we didn't. But, you know, think of what these kids would have known, and think then now what they'd be telling their kids, you know, they would have this discussion,
yeah.
you know, and they'd be able to talk a little bit about it maybe. You know, I don't know.
I
That's
think-
my thought,
I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, me too.
anyway.
Because I don't think people understand where the property taxes goes, and that all the, I think a lot of people think that every bit of property taxes we get, or, you know, we gather, that the county gets, and doesn't understand a lot of it goes to school, a lot of it goes to cemeteries. So, I mean, I think it'd be a good deal,
And that's your property tax.
yeah,
And you know, all but 1.5 mils, everything stays here.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and why does it stay here? You know, yeah. So, I don't know if you want us to, if we could get together later, or if we want to have, you know, if we bring it up to department head meeting, but I'd like to talk to, you know, be able to talk to the school this year, so we could have something ready in the fall
Yeah.
for that class.
Yeah.
Either the end of October or any time in November would work best for me. Cause you know, middle of April to the end of May is busy corn, cut or planting, and then first of October, September is busy with corn and beans.
But I don't mind having a, you know, while they're here, I don't mind spending some time coming in and whether we have a little presentation to give them on, you know, what we do, where we fit into this. I mean, I'm willing to be involved with it.
Yeah, we had talked about that, but with their small window of time in the afternoon, I just didn't know how to get you
Yeah.
guys, you know, it'd be great if they could see a
they need a
commission
day.
meeting, but
Yeah.
they only had so much time, so.
But maybe if they schedule,
Yes,
the
ahead of
week,
time and
you
make
know,
a
and
plan for
say,
that,
you know,
yes.
your government class is gonna be gone this morning. And so you gotta get your homework or what have you.
Right,
But this is, they're gonna be at the courthouse or over here at the annex or something.
be just like a field trip.
Because I feel like on-site learning is a lot more beneficial than
Yes,
a lecture.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, and that would give us time, you know, I had a little thing, presentation type thing, I was gonna, we was actually gonna do a simulation with them. And have a subject, they was all gonna be a dwelling, and we was gonna have a subject, and we was gonna go through the process, and they was gonna be their body, they was gonna be the dwelling.
Mhm.
yeah,
And then they could exactly see kind of what was going on, but you just don't have time,
Yeah.
you know? And sometimes, you know, yeah, not everybody's interested, but, you know, I thought this group was very interested.
mhm. They
For the
were a little
most
more
part, yeah.
attentive
Yeah.
than groups in the past. And
Yeah.
they actually asked some questions, they had prepared questions.
She had them, yeah, and I got them, yeah,
So
they had questions prior to coming over.
what
They had
does,
good
does
ones.
Natalie teach a class there, or where does Natalie fall into this?
Yeah, she's over there at the high school, I don't know exactly what class, what the
Like a
class
business-
title
I
is.
think it's like business type
Business
deal.
development or business management?
You know what Tara Kinnaman used to teach?
Yeah.
I think she's done
Along
that.
those lines,
Personal
yes.
finance, something like
Yeah.
that?
And
Yeah,
then-
to me, your personal finance class needs to come here and at least visit, you know, the clerk, the treasurer,
Yeah.
and the appraiser's office and figure out how your money, you know, the flow of things, whether you don't talk to the county attorney or the sheriff or the district court, you're at least, you know, personal finance, that's directly,
Mhm.
You have to
Fine.
get those-
And wouldn't that be great?
yeah.
I mean, you know, when I had bowling out at Stafford, Maxville School brought their kids over and they did a math class because they had to learn how to keep score with numbers and do it in their head and so
Yeah.
forth. And I always thought that was kind of cool. They bowled, but yet they had to do the math and then she graded it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I couldn't help them. They had to do it. So anyway, we're getting with Lisa, we can get together and we can kind of,
Okay.
if
oh, that
that's right
sounds,
with you guys.
yeah, that sounds really good.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, thanks you guys. This is, I didn't bring mine, but that's okay. That is kind of to give, and I think you guys have seen that already, not that specifically thing, but this is the top two ones, the residential and commercial. The first block is of the ratios, the second block is the COD, coefficient of dispersion, and then the third one is the PRD, price-related differential. But anyway, the main one is be the first and second blocks, and it's just the residential and commercial, the top two columns. I mean, the top two rows. The reason I'm bringing this over to you guys is those numbers, if these median ratios was 100, that'd be perfect. That means every one of my sales would have hit what it sold for. And I told you guys back in November and December when we seen this crazy 2021 market that I was actually gonna be satisfied at being around that 95, 94, 93 range, down in there. And I just wanted to show you that I think we pulled off what we did, because even right now, I think we're getting close to that plateau of the market, of what we're seeing. The very first thing that changed that is gonna be the interest rates.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
they're-
they just
and
hit
they're
new
up
highs
already,
yesterday.
yeah. Okay, and
Yeah,
so.
they're number 5 now.
And so I'm happy, what I'm glad about is that these ratios for the commercial and residential aren't up around that 101, 102, that would show that I definitely would be over appraising properties, and people would be paying way too much in, in taxes in proportion. So,
On the land, ag land only?
Yes.
Is it just cause land has went so high
no,
that it looks like it's
Um,
appraised low?
no, the reason it's like that is that's taking it by our use values and not by, it's taking the market value. That's why we don't look at really nothing else
Okay,
on that. It is comparing, on the ratio studies, it's comparing the ag use values, the soil type values with the market.
okay,
And that's why, and that would go to show you that it's only about 8% of the value.
okay.
Yep, that's a good catch there. Yep. So, I'm happy with it. Where we would have been on commercial at the 89.6, that's supposed to be 90 and above. But over here where you have your confidence intervals, those numbers there, as long as like that one there's at 97.7 interval, as long as one of those are above 90, then we're gonna be okay on that. And these here numbers on the COD, the next group, is you want these top two numbers, you want them under 20. And I'm happy with all those numbers actually. So, anyway, we did it, so I'm happy.
Ready?
So, if people ask you, the reason I wanted to let you know is I knew it was a concern to you guys, jumping the values for 1 year and then they may go back down. But that can at least show you that, that we're not over appraising them on there. And this time of the year where I'm kind of at, and if you guys want to slap my hands a little bit, but I haven't really had a lot of time to work on the employee performance yet. So if it's all right, it's still gonna take another couple weeks or so. Because we really want to get certified. What we would like to do is with Lisa's first year, we would like to certify in the middle of May instead of the end of May. That way that'd give her more time to see if there's errors or whatever help you might need. She would have extra time before the May 31st.
I think everybody's kind of on that timeline anyway for
Okay.
employee review, aren't they? I mean,
Yes.
I'm
It is, okay.
We dropped the ball on that. 'cause we
Yeah,
didn't
it's not
think about
anyone
it
else's
until
fault.
February.
Okay.
We didn't ask anybody
Yeah,
in January for them. We're doing a year-end recap of what we had missed, and that was one of the things.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
well, I
you're-
feel better then.
Yeah, you're fine on
I
that.
figured everybody was done.
We're not gonna
No,
slap, we're not
no.
gonna slap your hands.
No.
yeah,
Okay.
and that's a lot of, we didn't ask for it in January.
Okay, that's all I have. You guys
Okay.
have anything for me?
On your valid sales and trim
Yes.
sales, what's the difference between that?
The valid sales, those are the ones that the state used for their study to get these numbers.
Okay,
And if there's some in question, like what do we have in residential 2? What the state did then is they trimmed out 2 sales that they thought was questionable to being on the open market. What it could have been is like, at an auction, it could have been an absolute auction, or it could have been, a father selling something to their son. They said it was on the market, but it wasn't. And so what they do is they trim them out.
so it's either not a fair market
That's
value.
right.
It's an outlier.
Outlier.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Paul.
Okay, thanks for your time, then.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the March 30th, 2022 meeting.
We have a motion and a second, approve the minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Got anything
I'd like to do,
else?
I have one thing, so I don't, Marshall texted me. April 25th at 7 is a tentative chiefs meeting at the EMS station. You guys had asked about that, so.
okay,
April 27th?
25th
Or
at
25th.
7,
Oh, at 7, okay.
yes.
Okay.
At the end, here,
At
And it-
EMS,
EMS?
yeah. Thank you.
yeah, that sounds good to me.
So tomorrow is the meeting for the Central Kansas
Yes.
Yeah, what is that?
Highway. It's
for
where,
highway?
yeah, it's where KDOT, right, KDOT and
Yeah,
the engineers and stuff get together and discuss on what roads need to be done or have been done or,
Talks about the big budget items.
yeah.
Kind of tells things that we need to worry about. You know, last time when we went to, they were talking about making sure you don't let the power, you know, like power companies put poles on your right of ways. They had one where the power poles were like a foot on the outside of the grader, the
Yeah.
dirt pile. But it's kind of a good deal, and then they break out all the commissioners and then all the road supervisors.
Okay. Is it like by region?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just have a region of
Yes.
commissioners?
Reno, Kingman, this way to, I don't remember.
I know
It is-
Pratt and Pawnee.
There's several counties involved in region, is it 5?
Yep, District 5.
One year we went to Kingman. Other years we've gone to
Is it a
Hutch.
lunch deal too, or?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bill's the president of it. And so they have Wheatland, Bill will have the Wheatland.
Okay,
With Pine.
yeah.
And it was always down in Kingman, and we decided with our nice building that we have here, we ought to have Bill
Kind of
put it up here.
But because of the pandemic, we haven't had it for what, 2 years?
It's
At
probably
least.
been 2.
Yep. It's informative, at least when the engineer talks about all the things that they have to go through to do a bridge or a road.
Mhm. How long do you want, Todd?
Just 5 minutes.
And then
Discuss,
we'll
Adjourn.
adjourn.
and then we'll adjourn.
I make a motion that we go, non-elected?
Yeah, to discuss non-elected.
Okay, I make a motion that that we go into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel for 5 minutes, including the commissioners, Lisa, and the county attorney, and we will adjourn after with no action.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.